Welcome back to another episode of Advancing with Amy, Mental Health Warrior. Today we have the indomitable Michelle Whiteside joining us for a heartwarming yet stirring discussion on overcoming the odds. Dive into Michelle's riveting personal journey from battling trauma and mental health challenges to embracing self-care and personal development with neuro-linguistic programming. She'll share her transformative experiences from her work with teens to her insights into somatic work and the deep importance of self-empowerment. So, take a moment to pause, listen, and get inspired as we explore the winding pathways of resilience and growth. Together, let's learn about the power of believing in ourselves, the strength of community, and the courage to change. Tune in as we join forces with Michelle and learn to navigate the complexities of life with wisdom and love. This is an episode you won't want to miss. Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Amy?
I am doing great, and I am so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I just got goosebumps. We've been talking for a while, and now it's like, oh.
Now I've got them. Okay. So if you could tell me a little bit about what made you interested in being on the podcast, if there was something that resonated with you.
You resonated with me.
Aww.
So we met, and we have a lot in common without the details. And oh my God, I always cry, so it's just fake.
That's okay.
The women and men who have come into my life in the last few years have all been my tribe, right? And I've been through a lot. Like, I've had a lot of bottoms. And this time, it's uncomparable. I have people in my life that show up that I feel like I've known my whole life. And just advancing, it's that advancing with Amy. And I think you had a different name at first, which I like to, Warrior or something, Warrior. And
Mental Health Warrior.
Yeah. And yeah, really you.
Oh, well, thank you. Tell me a little bit about, you said you've had several bottoms. What are you talking about? What's happened?
Well, I think a lot of us have bottoms over our lives, and the only time we ever do anything is when we hit a bottom. Some of our bottoms are a little more poignant or dramatic than others. I had a bottom when I was born. I was a preemie. I was 2 pounds, 3 ounces. I came 2 months early. My mother's water broke in the bottom of the cellar of Macy's. I was born to shop, I say. And there was a cyst, and they didn't know. It's when they smoke, too. Hence the ADHD, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of things. But there was a cyst. It was as big as I was, pushing me out of the way. And I think at that point, I was like, no, you're not, and I'm coming. And I fought. So I've been fighting since the beginning. They said that if I was a boy, I wouldn't have survived because of my lungs. I guess boys' lungs don't develop as fast. And I was in the incubator for about 2 months. So it started there, and then it was all, I wouldn't say uphill, but it was, my mother has a lot of mental issues, and I didn't know a lot of this. I thought I knew, but I didn't. And it was a lot of being really good at connecting with the adults and doing all that, but always searching for that kind of love outside of myself because I felt abandoned. And my dad left when I was really young, and I remember that's one of my last memories. And he's not now an alcoholic. And so with her emotional manipulation and his, I loved my grandma. My grandma basically raised me till I was 6, and then she passed away. But I would stay with her. And I always say that's why I wasn't a sociopath, right? I'm gonna cry. She was like my mom. And I would call her on the phone and tell her rescue for me from my mother. I remember climbing up on the counter with the long phones, and she told my mom not to have any other kids because I wouldn't be number one. Oh. And she's still with me because I do the woo-woo, and she's with me. She's done some beautiful things lately. Yeah. So bottoms mean, I got involved in a lot of things, but I got involved in drugs and alcohol. I didn't realize it was because of my trauma, because of my ADHD. My psychiatrist really believes that, because when I did that, it was like, oh, I can think. Oh, I can talk. Oh, I can read a book. And I didn't know all this. I just felt like I was normal when I started doing drugs. But I also had trauma, and I had codependency from the very beginning. only a symptom of something bigger. And my codependency of wanting that love and wanting to be putting myself in places with people that are trustworthy. And that's just how I lived. I always thought there was something wrong with me, that I was like not defective, but there was always something wrong because I was always missing something. There was always learning disabled classes or the critical mother and the homework and the this and that, but then I would get fired. And it was just, there was always something, and underlying it was really dealing with what was going on inside. They didn't know a lot of the things they know now about ADHD. They didn't know about trauma and CTPSD, which I have, and anxiety disorder. They didn't know about any of that. I just took it on as, if you got to know who I am, you're going to think I'm crazy. And it's funny, I used to use that in my story for, I do a lot of work in the recovery community for, it'll be 16 years in March. And I used to say that that's what it was, but it was really that place of being crazy, is that place of going outside of myself, trying to help fix. And the people that I would do that with were the ones that needed that, but weren't really good to receive and back and forth. So I was always feeling like there was not enough, right? And I did it all the way up until my 50s, right? So in different ways, raising kids, getting married, thinking that was totally different than it was because I don't see clearly either. Magical thinking. I'm really good at that. We all see good in people, and I'm really good at that, right? So it's very difficult. Bottom line is I had to grow, right? I had to raise my kids. I couldn't grow. I mean, I grew, but I've been working on myself for a long time. And then I kind of stopped with the kids. It's like I'm a different person. My daughter's here with me now. She's 23 and she's got her music blowing up and 7,000 things on Spotify. It's really cool. But I was telling her last night, I'm like I was before I even had you. This is who I am. I mean, she loves it. I mean, I like who I am now too. I don't know where the other one went for 27 years. I mean, I was so tightly wound. And 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 the thing is, I was trying to keep everything together. So COVID was a great awakening, so to speak. And my business totally was gone. Like, I'm a hairdresser, 29 years, almost 30. And I was at the top of my game on Yelp. I'm still one or two on Yelp. And I had built a business for myself because that's what I did instead of being home, right? I took care of the kids. I did everything with the kids. Really was kind of like a single mom. And then I would work, and I built my hair business and doing very well when COVID hit. And I also told myself when I was 50, when the kids were older and I could take care of myself, I would look at what's going on, because I was really unhappy for a long time in my marriage, not getting what I needed. Now, granted, there was that, and there's also that hole that had to be healed because he would never been able to fill it. So I had a little studio, and my clients went, a lot smaller, and I went back to school, and that really saved me, because I've learned now, and I tell my clients, when you're going through huge transitions, to do something that's just for you, even if it's not going back to school. It could be you're starting to do art, something very different that you've always wanted to do. And it actually is probably, I don't want to say better than therapy, but it's huge. And because I was in a personal development school, it was perfect. I didn't know that. I just knew that it was a great school, and I could do the masters with them too. And it's transformational method. So NLP and all of that, which I liked. And, before I couldn't read books, right? And I've got 3 going right now, but I love learning. And it was great because I made my best friend there. And these women, the 2 women that I talk to still every day, they helped me learn what love was, right? I didn't know. I thought I loved, but I didn't know that they helped me heal. So
Yeah.
you're just wonder if they're it's like you, like the people in my life now are solid, which says something about we attract what we are.
Yes.
But that container, and still, like, we still talk every day. We messenger and stuff, and it's great. And the friendship between the 3 of us, one lives near me, the other one's in Canada, and I go to Canada every 3 months. No, I travel all over the place. I'm like, be careful, Amy. I'm going to come to your house. I'm serious. You know my face.
That'd be great.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind
So yeah.
I wanted to go back to what you said about PTSD and CPTSD. Can you explain?
CPTSD.
Because I don't think all our listeners know the difference.
Yeah, I didn't know the difference either. In the beginning of COVID, I started seeing a psychiatrist because I was so forlorn, right? Everything was collapsing, and I kicked my husband out of 28 years and to take a break, and the business. And I was saying, well, I have ADHD. She goes, you know what you have? You have CTPSD. And I go, what's that? It's complex post-traumatic disorder, and then post-traumatic disorder. So PTSD happens usually, they say, with one, which is so funny. Everybody has a lot more, but one traumatic episode. And CTPSD is more in a row. So, for instance, what we all went through COVID with a fear of something happening, right? And the uncertainty of work and if we're going to be okay health wise and all of that, that's CTPSD. And it rears its head in very funny ways that you don't know that's what you have either. And PTSD is the same thing, but it's limited to one event. And when you have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, the way you process information, the way that you react, you can have flashbacks, you can have dreams, you can have more fear. It's actually, I want to say powerful, but even when you heal and you go through it and do body work and all of that, Reiki, whatever, it's one of those things that's almost still there, but that's how it all is. It's just you don't get triggered the same way and you might not respond to something or make a decision based on that place anymore because you're not
Right.
coming from that like it's survival. It's that fight, flight, freeze, right? On steroids. So we know, and a lot of us growing up had to learn how to walk on eggshells already. So a lot of us who have CTPSD have had it our whole lives and didn't know, right? And then we keep doing what we think, and we keep creating more and more and more until at some point game over. Most people at some point it gets too painful to stay where you're at, and that's where drugs and alcohol come in, gambling, sex addiction, shopping, suicide, all of it comes in there, right? And depression and anxiety, and I believe it's all linked to all of that. Everything, cancer, breast cancer, they say is from us not saying no. So that's
I think that's
codependency
very
piece,
plausible.
right? And they're getting to know more and more. So the difference really is one event or continued events.
Do you think the NLP has helped with that?
You do NLP, that's right. Yes, very much so. So I love NLP. And it's not new. I mean, Carl Jung, oh my God,
No.
it's so old, but everyone's like shadow work and this, it's not new, but I'm glad it's being adopted. I always said that what you put out is what you get back since the beginning, and they're doing that now. And I'm like, I did that before we had computers. But the same thing with NLP. NLP is so great because we're computers. And so we were programmed a certain way, and we have beliefs, whether they're from our parents or not, or from society. And when we want to change belief, which our experience become our, what is it? Our thoughts become our behaviors, become our experiences, become our identity. And
Right.
so it's very hard to extrapolate what's real. But when you keep getting stuck somewhere, it's probably that belief system that says I can't make a lot of money, I'm not good enough, I can't have that job because I'm dumb, and it's running quietly. And so NLP comes in and basically rewrites the program very simply, and you can do it in real time. That's what I love. You can actually change belief in real time. I
Yeah,
was
it's
told
amazing.
by, yeah, it's amazing. I was told by someone like the quickest way, because I'm like, I want it now. The quickest way is, let's say they say you can't go into that store. You're not allowed to go in that store. You're saying you're not good enough to go in the store, and you want to change that belief that you're not good enough to go in the store. You go in that store. You change it. So it takes some courage and guidance. You can't do it alone, but there's a lot of activities and exercises you can do, things that you can do to change by little steps. You become different without knowing you're different. But to me, I was NLP'd for a few years and I need more. I need more. But it's true.
Yeah, you made me think of Julia Roberts in the movie Pretty Woman,
Oh,
where
yeah,
she
Drew.
goes into the store and
Oh,
she's like, "I'll show you guys."
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love those movies, but they screw you up. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just extrapolate what can be helpful.
Right. That's what I would do now. I love my life now. I'm pretty happy on my own.
That's amazing. I know we were talking before this interview about how far you've come and all the things you've got going on in your life right now. Can you talk a little bit about your business?
I do want to put a shout out for following your intuition because we all have purpose here to help others. I do believe that somehow. And that's what's happened. It's not been I'm going to go do this. It's been very organic. I work with teens at the high school here. It's an independent school. So it's public, but it's for kids round hole square peg. I always say they do criminal things, but they're not criminals because they're not. And they are amazing and I love them. And I fell into it. I just started working and I created the Meet the Future You program, which they do NLP and they do mindfulness. They get to learn to ground the room. They like to take each other through meditation. Now, these kids were writing in a box that they were rats back at each other. And now they hold the space when someone talks because that's who they are. I'm just holding a flashlight for them to say, uh-huh, okay.
Yeah, I got
And
chills.
I know it's really, I think it's part of my calling. I don't know where I'm going to end up with that, but I've now created my nonprofit for Meet the Future. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I know I want to help them because I was them. Probably why.
Now you got me crying.
But that's the story. I mean, parents or whatever, they're good, whatever. But I was that kid. I was the kid that was not understood. I was the kid that had the big heart, but no one saw it but me, right?
Yeah. I grew
So
up always feeling like the black sheep.
always.
Yeah.
I did a video on that black sheep thing. We're actually the chosen ones, the black sheep, because we are, because we're authentic, but people were scared of that. And so I was the black sheep. I have brothers. And everywhere I went, I'm even still sometimes, I don't care. I'm kind of glad now with family members and stuff. So yeah. And so that's great. I want to help them. I think everyone should have one of us in schools
Yes.
across the US, across the world. That's how I want to make a dent and helping teachers. It's not hard what we do, it's believing in them, right? And really,
Right.
they can feel that. And then having experience with drugs and alcohol, they ask me all these questions, but they don't trust anybody, right? And so you build the rapport, and that's pretty easy because I'm a teenager, right? I'm a kid. So that's one thing I'm doing. And then I'm working on my certification or my licensing for drug and alcohol counseling because before I started wanting to be a coach, I didn't want to do the marketing thing. So I did that, but I don't want to do this every day. So I'm just doing that. I don't have much left, and I just think it will help me help others. But I'm working with an amazing center up here in Sonoma that's relatively new that works on mind, body, and soul, but also with recovery and Alcoholics Anonymous and all that is pretty awesome. So things are changing. Like people are starting to use energy work and being more aware about trauma and the stigma of it being there's something wrong with you and all of that. It's everywhere now, which I love.
Right. You said you were going
Um,
to be able to use Reiki there?
yeah, so even in their commercial, they have a commercial and they say Reiki. I didn't know that. And I'm going to be doing Reiki there on Sunday evenings for the residents and gratitude and dream work, which will be cool because I like Carl Junging and dream work
Mm.
because it's very healing. So Reiki is something like acupuncture that it's on the Eastern bent, but it's known for anti-inflammation. I use it in my coaching practice with my clients because to clear blocks, because the body keeps the score. So even though we do all this work, even the NLP, we do all that, but then there's still residual stuff in our body. And in order to really close the trauma loop to heal, we have to get in the body. So I do some somatic work and Reiki with my clients because it's all mind, body, and soul all has to be completed in order to really heal and not have the same trajectory anymore because we go back to what we know really quickly, right?
Yes. Can you talk a little bit about the somatic work and what that actually is?
Yeah, so I was going to be doing the Somatic Institute and doing all that. I've decided as things going, I can still do that, but it's great. A lot of different therapists, doctors use somatic experiencing. The way that it works is the same thing. There's a lot of body work, but somatics can be meditation too. It's anywhere where you're getting into the body and connecting the different pieces of not really so much the trauma, but right in the heart with the body, which is the body is the place that it's holding all that tension or holding all that trauma from that car accident, right? Or whatever that was. And when you start messing around with NLP and stuff like that, that stuff will come up. So there's different ways. I know that with the somatic experiencing, you can actually just hold someone's arm and actually guide things to go that way. I know authentic movement, meditation, dance is huge way for somatic work. That's all somatics. A lot of coaches use it and don't really even know because it's all just different various levels. If you really want to work with trauma, that's the somatic experiencing, and you go through the process of doing that and learning how to do that.
Yeah.
But anybody can do somatic work. Just go outside and just move your body where it wants to go and cry if you need to cry and laugh. And that's somatics.
Wow. What do you think life is bringing to you?
I have no idea.
No idea. And you're just open for whatever comes.
So I'm getting really choked up with you, Missy. I think no, because I know this is the best chapter of my life,
I feel like it is for me too.
right? For a lot of
Hmm.
us, and a lot of forgiveness for myself. I have done a lot of work around that. So important. We think we forgive ourselves. We can forgive everybody else, and that's even hard. But for yourself, for all that time that we didn't trust ourselves, that we believed
Didn't
everybody
love
else,
ourselves.
because we gave our power away every single day. And we are so beautiful. I don't mean that like ego. It sounds so weird to get out of my mouth, but we are, and we're such, I mean, we're wonderful, but we just didn't believe in ourselves. So we never were the best versions of ourselves, which actually
Right.
helps somebody else. And so I get that opportunity now. So I don't know where I'm going to end up, like if I'm going to be just working with kids or I'm going to be doing, more group work. Oh, I love group work. I just keep following because I don't really know. I know I'm on my path. I know I'm in my purpose because things are kind of like move so fluently. I'm kind of excited. Some days I get really excited, and other days I'm like, I'm bored. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
You have so much going on. How could you be bored?
No, I need like, social life. I love working. So my working is my social life. So down the road, I see myself in the Rockies with a big space for retreats. I'd like to take women and do retreats and healing. It's one of those things that I have a place I could go in Costa Rica, been offered to me. And she's like, just put it online and see who will come. I go, I don't even know what I do yet. Like, so, I've been done that one thing at a time.
Oh, I can so envision that and
I
see you doing that.
know I want to do that. I want to go all over the place and help kids all over the world. I love to travel. I see horses. I see retreats, like being
Yeah.
somewhere and teaching from there, like something like that. I love to teach. I've always taught, codependent. I tell you how you think you should do everything. So, yeah, I don't know. How about you?
That's a great question. I'm wondering why did I go back for my MBA? What am I planning to do with it? And I don't know. I feel like things are falling in place for me, but I'm waiting to find out what it all means.
I see you're doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
So we don't know why I'm going to go get a nonprofit LLC. I don't even know what that means. Or MBA. I don't really know what that means either. Smart girl. No, I do, sort of. But by doing that and trusting, there is something. This is what people strive for their whole lives, right? Like that place of being in trust and just following. You don't have to know the outcome. So for people like me who are like fear-based, future tripping, all this, for me to even be walking like that is an anomaly in itself, right?
It's finally
So
enjoying the journey.
right? And why do we have to wait? So we're like, what, 50s? I mean, really,
Right.
you're the same age as I am too.
Yes, I'm 53.
Same age as me, yeah. It's a great age.
Yes,
Because
I
it's
love
like
it.
now, but do all women this age feel like this? I hear a lot midlife women, they tend to know what they want, stuff. But I think for
Hmm.
some of us, it's a deeper because it's like going back in, like Carl Jung again. I love him. But going back in to go back in. We were outward. So everyone at midlife goes back in to look, right? We go in to
Right.
meditate what's important to us. And I think some of us, I do believe the people that have the most trauma have big things to do or to pass on to others. Like I just believe none of the stuff that we've been through is without purpose because I wouldn't change any of it. My mother, nothing, nothing. And because I wouldn't be me now. And I like me. And I think I keep getting better. I'm spunky and fun. I got a sense of humor. And it's pretty funny. And there's no scarcity, right? There's no like, well, what if they don't like it's none of that. I spent my
Right.
whole life like that. That's NLP. I tell you what, I don't know what else it is. But yeah, it just takes time. But we don't do it alone, right? Like I've had people show up and teach me and pass it on, and that's what we do.
That's incredible.
So you'll know what that is when is it all completed yet?
The middle of May, I should be done.
And what is it for? Which one is it
Master
for?
of Business Administration.
You're smarty pants. Okay.
Well, no, not really. I'm struggling.
I just, yeah, hard.
I'm taking finance right now and I'm struggling.
I probably need to take finance. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but you're so feely too. I see you using it, but not for necessarily what you think yet. It's
We'll
going to be
see.
good internally. It makes shifts, even if it's not that thing. I think because of the trust for ourselves, it rewrites that story and that belief. So what happens is you've completed it. You may not even use it, but what it gave you is like going to bring you over here because you can do that now because you see it's possible,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh, I
What I
totally
see.
believe that.
Oh, I got goosebumps again. It's true.
Oh, we got to get together
I
sometime. You've got to
know.
come to Missouri.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say that. I will come. I've been to Utah, Canada. I might be going to Colorado. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I love
My dog
Colorado.
travels. Yeah, I go.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's little. She's sleeping. She's a rescue. She's a Italian Greyhound and they say Chihuahua. She's not Chihuahua. She's like a Jack Russell. Come on, I'm going to show you on the camera. You're like, no,
That's an
mom.
interesting mix.
She's the Italian Greyhound Jack Russell Beagle. There she is.
Oh,
So she's
she's
about 14 pounds
cute.
and she cuddles so good and she follows me
Oh,
around the house. She's
she's
like me.
sweet.
Yeah, well, she saved my life, this dog.
Did she really?
Well, she did because I got her in 2019 in the summer. She picked me. I wanted a big dog. And she knew that she knew a lot of things and she's like my dog. And the more
Oh,
confident I get, she's pretty feisty now. I want to talk to that dog. I'm not leaving. I go, oh my God, yes. So as mom grows, so is Pinky. She didn't like people. She didn't like dogs, and she's my everything.
oh, she is just a doll.
Cute, and she goes on airplanes.
Oh,
Sport
wow.
dog, yeah.
She's very calm.
She is. Oh no, not really, but right now she is.
No, she is
Hey,
now, but she was
girlfriend,
sleeping.
I love you.
So if you could tell anybody who'd been in your shoes, had a rough marriage, had a rough childhood, and they were struggling, what would you tell them?
Even if you don't believe in yourself, go to that mirror every day and tell yourself that I love you. And it'll be hard. It's hard to look at yourself. Surround yourself with people that are good for you, that love you good and bad, unconditionally, that don't leave you, like that they're solid, right? Like and if you don't have that, there's ways and there's groups of women and realize that it takes time to heal. And there's nothing wrong with you, nothing. And treat yourself like you would a friend, right? Like talk to yourself like a friend, not like the critic that we have. Like how, because we're all really good at taking care of people. And what do you need? You do that to yourself and
Yeah.
know that you're going to be okay. And any one of us would give you our number to call. Like there's so many of us out there open-handed to help and don't not ask for help because even the help of just knowing you're not alone makes huge shifts for yourself. And the next thing you know it, you're flying all around to see your friends everywhere.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? So it's like really, I
Yes.
think that's what I would say. And they don't have to know how to figure it out because when you're in that place, the women that are there, they don't even know they're really there. That's the thing. They know something's wrong. Like, what are they crying about in the middle of the night, right? They know they're really unhappy and they've been unhappy their whole life. Something's been wrong their whole lives. And we internalize it that it's our fault, which is good to look at and have self awareness, but we did it from a very different place. And to know that you don't have to know, but if you have an inkling that you want to know, that you want something, that is enough to turn the key. That's enough willingness of being willing and to be willing to change everything.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, it's believing in yourself. When you don't believe in yourself, that's like, oh yeah, okay. But then do things to believe in yourself because that's changing the pattern. That's the NLP, right? So,
Right.
you say you're going to get up at 5 a.m., you better get up at 5 a.m. because that stuff, I mean, you say that you're going to go for a walk. And if you don't, treat yourself like, okay, next time. But that's what builds trust and changes the pattern that you're capable. And a lot of us didn't believe we're capable for whatever reason.
I think it's also important to comment on what you said about the women being there for you, that if you don't have anybody, there are groups of women. I think that has been so important in my life that for so long I thought it had to be a romantic partner that would fill that hole inside of me. And now I've realized that my friends
I
are the
love
most
them.
amazing people and have been there for me through thick and thin, literally.
Literally.
And yeah, and it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It's just has to be love.
See, in women, we're lucky that way because we can connect that way. And that unconditional love, like we're not perfect, right? I can be a lot of things, but that is it has we learned somewhere that another person makes us whole. That's
Yes.
it's codependent. We learned that so I needed a man. I don't know where I learned that from Disney. I mean, who
I was
knows?
just gonna say Disney.
And I still love Disney, that's the thing. But the friend we had good friends before, but see the difference is that the friends that come into your life when you're on this journey, it's a different friend. It is very different
Hmm.
and it's a lot more vulnerable. But it's hard when you don't have a lot of friends. Let's say you're raising kids to know where to meet those kind of people. And then I
Yeah.
would say go places that you like to do things and you'll find them. But actually, they're online now because of the all the media. There are so many groups, and you go look into what you're looking into, and there's coaches and there's Facebook. There's so many groups you can join. I think so I've been learning from LinkedIn. This LinkedIn was a huge part. Those audio rooms have actually really helped me heal because I would not talk. I don't want to talk. Now I talk.
That's
But it built
great.
my self-esteem and I met other people in the mental health world and some not, but they're all the same belief and they get to know you. And all those people I have talked to, I met you from LinkedIn,
Right.
right?
LinkedIn.
And that is I personally think it's better than Facebook. I have
I agree.
Facebook and Instagram is fine and TikTok is fine, but there's something about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is amazing. I tell everybody it's the best platform. People are also connected. They're all growing.
Yes.
There's people there that will do breath work with you, no charge. We do things. I'm working with someone in Africa, helping with meditation and stuff, no charge. That's what we do, and that's really good. And that's where it's really hard when you don't have friends and you're going like that and it's all the other moms and they're not just pay attention. They're out there because they
Yes.
are. And the
Open
more
your
you grow,
eyes.
the more you attract what you are. I believe that.
Oh, I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah. What you see and what you believe, you see more often.
Right. So if you say, I want to see hearts everywhere, this is a great way to see how this actually really works and manifestation works. You want to see hearts out there and you make a mental note. I bet when you go out that door, you're going to see a million different hearts everywhere because it's what you're focused on. So, energy goes where energy flow or energy flows where energy goes, right?
Yes. That's my
And
word of the
that is
year,
true.
flow.
Yeah, I like flow. I didn't know what that was a year ago. My had to explain it to me. They're like, you're in the flow. I go, what the hell is that? Flow, nothing. Oh, it's against the flow. But it is. And so within, so without, like everything on the inside reflects your outside, right? And
Yes.
so if you're in a place of darkness and fixing, and what do you think is in front of you? And I heard yesterday, I wrote it down, that we deserve exactly what we allow.
Oh,
Michael said that. You, Michael.
wow.
And that's true because we are captains of our own ship. We are the creators. We have power. We make decisions. Until we start working with the NLP or the meditation, we're not as much captains because we're kind of being run 95% of what we don't know, right? And so that's why the work's so good to do because then it's real. It's not being
Yes.
tainted, but it's true. We allow people to treat us the way we treat us for
Right.
our own selfish reasons or whatnot.
So, Michelle, you are so amazing, and I have
Oh,
just totally enjoyed talking to you. Where can people find you?
I was gonna
We
say
know
beach,
LinkedIn.
beach and beachy. So I'm on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere. Levelingupwithmichelle.com is my website. Some podcasts are on there, and you can reach me there and email me. I think I even have my phone number on the LinkedIn thing. I'm pretty open. I would go to my website and send me an email or any one of those platforms to message me, and totally happy to connect and talk and help shine that light, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Thank you
time to go
so
big or go
much.
home, everybody.
Yes, go big or go home. Thank you, Michelle.
I love you, Amy. Thank you.
I love you too. Thank you so much for coming on today.
As we draw this heartfelt episode to a close, we hope that Michelle Whiteside's transformative journey has ignited a spark within you to embrace personal growth and aspire for self-care. Her story is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the incredible strides one can make on the path to healing. If Michelle's message resonated with you and you're feeling inspired to learn more about her methods and insights, we invite you to visit her website, levelingupwithmichelle.com. Discover the wealth of resources she offers and perhaps embark on your own journey with the support she provides. In the spirit of community and connection, don't forget to rate and follow Advancing with Amy Mental Health Warrior on your preferred podcast platform. Your engagement helps us reach more souls searching for support and guidance. Finally, if you'd like to contribute to the continuation of our empowering conversations, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. The link is in the show notes. Your generous support enables us to keep sharing these life-changing stories and connect you with incredible guests like Michelle. From all of us at Advancing with Amy Mental Health Warrior, thank you for listening. And remember, your journey towards better mental health and unconditional self-love is the most worthy adventure. Keep on advancing, warriors.